The Israeli army exploded in Gaza Strip because of efforts to expand ceasefire. That ceasefire has failed, and Gaza Strip exploded. Israeli airstrikes, including the south, who was said to be safe for civilians who have escaped before, have been reported during the ENKLAV, an hour before the end of the temporary ceasefire. Rocket and gunfire reports appeared. Israel. Hamas violated the agreement, he said. There was no comment from Memedator Qatar, but there were reports about the continuation of talks between Qatar and Egyptian mediators. Hamas violated operational pause and fired towards the Israeli region, Israeli army said. Hamas. IDF continued to fight against the Hamas terrorist organization in Gaza. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu claimed that Hamas did not agree to give more hostage by violating the conditions of the ceasefire. Hamas has not yet responded. Netanyahu's office said, We emphasize rest fight. Israeli government is determined reach goals of war, release our hostages, eliminate Hamas and make sure that Gaza will never threaten inhabitants. Israel. Hamas said, what Israel failed during 50 days before the ceasefire will not be able to achieve his aggression after ceasefire. Hamas said. Al Jazeera's journalists. Planes, drones in Enclave say that airplanes drones can be heard. Now there are heavy gunshots. Israeli ING reports in the middle southern regions of Gaza. Gaza Strip heavy artillery and even under the air ardment by the occupation forces. Al Jazeera's Tareq Abu Azzouum. Khan Younis in southern Gaza. We can witness increase in the number of Israeli strikes in coming hours. Our correspondent said that a residential building was destroyed. Jabalia refugee camp north. Near tanks Nuseirat and Bureij refugee camps center of Gaza. And a house Rafah was completely destroyed. According to Gaza's Ministry of Health, at least 21 people. North. Gaza Central Gaza and 12 South. Currently, Israeli explosions can be heard in the south, which is an area that Israeli officials propose safely for civilians to escape from. Civilians, Abu Azzoum said. This brings only one option to Palestinians: they will live again to destroy all living vehicles in Gaza Strip under Israeli ardment, he added. Israeli forces warn civilians to evacuate civilians towards Rafah at the Egyptian border. The city was also targeted by Israeli air raids on Friday. Journalist Hind Khoudaryy from Khan Younis said, People, where should we go? They ask. Gaza is unprepared for all this. He said. Evacuation warnings show that most Israel's ardment in weeks before ceasefire. After concentrating most Enclave, it plans to target regions to South Strip. The 7-day pause in fight, which started on November 24 and extended twice, was allowed to change the hostage for hundreds of Palestinian prisoners in Gaza and facilitated shattered coastline of humanitarian aid. During the ceasefire, Hamas received 110 prisoners, including 80 Israelis.